getting clean and getting your life in order, which is where I've been the last several years, teaches you humility and a humble nature that I've never really known before. And in the context of all that, you know, the idea of still having a career was something that'd be nice, but it could be gone. And if it is gone, it's okay. You know, I can still try to make the best music I can. And this record came out the way it did, and it's interesting and it's kind of exciting to see that it's being received as well as it is so far. But that's a byproduct of the record, not so much the plan to get that by making a record like that. And it wasn't, I didn't make this record to be the opposite of The Fragile. It just, when I started to work on it, this is what felt good to me. It felt like the right way to do it. I sat down to write this record with a new set of tools and abilities than I had when I did The Fragile. The Fragile, I can see now clearly, I was on a slippery slope headed to disaster, and I couldn't think, and I was terrified, and I couldn't think clearly enough to write lyrics, really, and I didn't have great lyrical concepts, but I could improvise in the studio indefinitely, and that record grew into this big blob of what it is, because that's what I could do at that time. It's the best thing I could do, and I listen to it now, The Fragile, and I feel it, I'm proud of that record, but it feels really weird to me, because it's like, I know I'm about to walk off a cliff after I finish that record, you know, and I can now hear
You can take yourself out of that and hear that within the music as well, hear that within the
I can hear what's coming, you know, that I couldn't see at the time. Like, you know, when I did Downward Spiral, I thought I was writing a kind of amplification or projection of me. I didn't know that I was predicting the future, you know. I didn't know I was writing a script I was about to then execute, you know?
And why would you? You know, you listen to Downward Spiral, you think, God, can't get much worse than this. You know, I've been through the worst of it, surely, at this
but
point.
it did, and it does, you know.
And what freaks me out, and I tried to touch on this before when we spoke, but what really freaks me out is when you talk about this era of your life. And I met you for 45 minutes once and had a proper sit down, one-on-one with you about The Fragile when the time you're doing all the press and promo. It really didn't strike me that you were in that state. Now, most people who are in bands who are struggling with drugs or struggling with whatever, addictions, could be addictions to drama, anything, it's a lot more obvious with them. And if anything, they use it to promote their records, or they use it to sort of say, hey, I'm out of control here, you know, and they make the most of that time in their life, then they let it go. It seemed like you kept all this very much within, you know.
Well, because you were seeing me at a phase where you missed the part where I was bragging about it.
Yeah.
I'd already learned that's big trouble. Now I've got to pretend everything's okay, and that's the time you caught me at that phase.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't like thinking about that time. So thanks for bringing that up, man.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. This from Jay Hybrid. How did you discover the visual artist or graphic designer to do the artwork for your record? You know, how do you go about making that decision? It's got a uniformity to it.
On this particular record?
Yeah.
This time around, Rob Sheridan is the guy that's done all the graphics for us, and I found him before The Fragile came out, and he just had a fan website, and we hired him to do a website for us and kind of go on the road with us and document what was going on, and his work led to the And All That Could Have Been DVD. He filmed that, and we just immediately hit it off and have the same sensibility. So when things came around this time, the typical procedure would be to find a fine artist and collaborate with them, and then have another art director that puts it together.
Yeah.
And Rob's ideas are really good. And we just said, let's just do this thing. And he also directed the Hand That Feeds video.
Yep.
And
which has got a good solid performance video, I think, that one.
I thought so too. You know, to me it was like, you know, being in a band and it's time to do videos, and I don't do videos myself. You kind of get thrust into this position of, you know, if you're an already cool band, pick from one of 5 directors, you know, and you can think very off the top of your head who they are, and hope they come up with a clever idea that gets you on MTV and everyone's happy ever after. But it doesn't feel sincere to me. It feels, you know, I think Spike Jonze is a great director.
Michelle Gondry is a great director.
Michelle Gondry, Chris Cunningham, Romantic, you know, down the line, you know the ones, because they always have the best videos, you know. So you end up either taking a chance on somebody that's unknown, that has its own set of problems, or you're playing it the safe as you can be by hiring one of the few guys to hopefully make something that attaches itself to your song.
It certainly did that, you know.
This time around, it just felt like it's not the right thing to do. It's just, the song is good. I think the band is good. Let's just have the band play the song and hopefully do it in a way that's not too
corny
so
or
boring.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's also a nice little nod at the end, the way that, you know, obviously you've got like the instruments at the ground, there's the rock feedback and stuff, which takes you back to March of the Pigs and stuff like that. I can't remember, was March of the Pigs actually, was that recorded live musically as well?
March of the Pigs was that everything live. We literally played the song 15 times, and whatever one was the least shitty was the one we ended up using.
Didn't think about doing that with The Hand That Feeds as well?
We're going to do it, and then I got beat down by a number of reasons why you weren't supposed to do that. I conceded, so.
Fair enough. Do you have to do that very often nowadays, or are you still in a position to pretty much control your own?
I could do what I want to do, but often when it's presented to me in a way that here's the upside and the downside, I weigh it out, and it's my call as to what I think's right.
Sure, so you just take it on as advice, effectively.
It's advice. No one tells me what to do, you know. And
no one tells Trent what to do.
Remember that.
We're running out of time here. We've only got a couple more minutes, so I'm going to race through some questions from MTV2Europe.com for our very special guest, Trent. High fives, man. Enjoying myself today.
Me too, man.
Enjoying myself. All right.
If it was all this easy.
There you go. Well, you know what? I'm open. I'm ready to go. Take me on the road. I'll do all your press. Different territories. I'll get a linguistic coach. Your recent concerts are both physically and mentally demanding. It's obvious. Here we go. It's obviously you've prepared yourself physically for the rigors involved. Everyone's noticing the physique. You're looking good. How do you prepare yourself mentally? Wiggle Butt wants to know. I mean, are there little rituals you do without giving too much away before shows, or you know?
Not really. I mean, there used to be a ritual that was involved copious amounts of tequila.
Those days are done.
No, really, right now it's just about. I'll get really nervous before a show, even now, and so it's just a matter of me reassuring myself everything's okay. It's kind of stupid as that sounds.
Yeah, in 2 hours it's going to be done.
I'm fine, but it's that half hour before of panic. Not really panic, but a mild sense of something's not right. Without
crossing the line, journalistic professionalism, where do you stand right now in terms of what you entitle yourself to do and don't do on the road? Obviously, drugs are out of the question. Do you still entitle yourself to have a drink? Do you allowed to have a drink every now and then?
I don't drink or do anything like that.
Right, so you're pretty much completely clean now?
I'm 100% clean.
Well, you're looking better for it. Has it been hard, though, to find things to replace that aspect of your life, though? Because that's what people say, is it's kind of a replacement factor to a certain extent.
Well, one of the reasons that I didn't jump right back into doing the record and touring immediately after getting clean was I wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin before I went into a situation that had previously got me into trouble, you know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't touring that got me into trouble, you know, it was just the fact I'm an addict, you know, and I happen to be in a lifestyle that maybe accelerated it a bit, but it's not why it happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, I enter into this phase of touring and even doing the record with a pretty good, safe ground base of knowing who I am and what I am and feeling good about things. I'm not in a white knuckly situation, and I'm not uncomfortable with what's around me. And
got a juicer?
I do have a juicer.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm big into juices right now.
Yeah, what's your flavor?
Carrot, beetroot, and an apple mix, I think, goes down very well.
A little ginger in there, spice it up.
That's what I'm talking about right there. But then after you have the beetroot juice, if then you have a bowel movement and you find that it's slightly, don't panic.
I thought I lost a kidney once, so I learned
It's the power of the root, man. It's the power of the root. It's good to see you, dude. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Trent Reznor, 9 Inch Nails, of course, the album With Teeth. It's coming your way, and you'll get plenty of chances to see them play live. We'll keep them on the road for as long as we can.